Welcome to the Prime Health and Performance Podcast. I'm Montel Hardin, certified personal trainer, strength coach, and nutritionist since 2017. With our company, Hardin Athletics, we've worked with over 700 men and women, helping them improve their health, fitness, and performance. And our main goal with every episode of this podcast is to help you build a fit, healthy, and athletic and capable body that does what you want it to do, when you want it to do it, and allows you to live the way you want to live. So, let's dive in. In episode number 54 of the podcast, we are talking about 3 food rules to help you drop fat permanently. Not drop fat fast, not drop fat in 30 days, drop fat permanently. Because I'm hoping that you don't want to keep having to try and lose the same 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 50 pounds, or whatever it is. You eventually want to get past this hurdle and never have to look back at it and focus on it again. So these are going to be the 3 food rules to make sure that you get that done. And if you're watching this on the video and my skin looks a little weird, we actually went to the beach, had a family trip, probably about 20, 25 of us or so. Went down to Pensacola, Florida. Had a great time there at the beach, but your boy did not apply any sunscreen or anything like that. So my skin is kind of feeling the effects of it a little bit. So if look a little bit different, that's probably what it is. But without further ado, we're going to dive into the 3 food rules to help you drop fat permanently. If this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe and turn notifications on so that you don't miss any more uploads going forward. I just want to make sure that you get all the info you need to get to your health goals. So first off, number 1 is going to be balancing your carbs and your movement. So a randomized controlled trial that was done by the Journal of Science and Medicine in Sports states that individuals who adjusted their carb intake based on physical activity levels had improved metabolic flexibility, aka function, and it improved their body's ability to switch between carbs and fats for energy. This is extremely important because I feel like, first off, we all eat way too many carbohydrates. If you're pretty much, I can pretty confidently say that if you are, 20, 30, 60, 80, 100 pounds overweight, you are consuming way too many carbohydrates and your body is struggling to figure out how to utilize that energy. So I want you to think about uh, carbohydrates in the context of, like, say, gas in a car. So you fill up your gas tank. Right now, it takes me about $35 or so to fill up the gas tank. So I put $35 in the gas tank and it's now full. And I'm able to go for about 400 miles before I need to do it again. So imagine that 400 miles is the threshold. That full gas tank is the threshold. That's carbs. That's like the max amount of carbs that you can have and, your body still perform well and be healthy. Now, let's imagine that we took that gas and once we got to that $35, we said, you know what? I'm going to keep putting more gas in here. So we take the gas out of the gas nozzle out of the gas tank and then we go put it in the engine. Like, we take the oil cap off and we put it where the oil is supposed to be. And then we take the coolant tub and we put it where the coolant is supposed to be. Like, imagine how haywire your vehicle is going to go if you just you put the extra $10 in the engine and you put an extra $10 in the radiator. You just continue to fill up the car with gas, even though it has the amount of gas that it needs. That's kind of what excess carbohydrates are like. Yes, we do need them and we can use them for energy. We can use them to get us from point A to point B. But when you start consuming them in excess, when you start consuming more carbohydrates than your activity levels demand, your body is going to have to start storing that in different places. That's going to be the liver, the kidneys, the pancreas, literally, or all the organs throughout your body. It's going to start to filter through the blood sugar. If you don't have enough lean muscle mass to dispose of this glucose, it's basically just going to go everywhere throughout your body, cause a lot of metabolic dysfunction, and make it very difficult for you to drop body fat. So that's why it's extremely important to throttle your carbohydrate intake based on your activity. When you are moving more, you can consume more. When you are moving less, you need to be eating dramatically less carbohydrates. For example, you have an extremely sedentary job, you're only walking maybe, 3 to 5,000 steps a day, there's really zero reason that you should have carbohydrates or a heavy amount of carbohydrates with every single one of your meals. You probably need to be within the range of about 100 grams, maybe 150 depending on your size. 150 grams of protein, grams of carbs per day, if you want to get the best use out of them without going in excess and over consuming, because it is an energy source. So if you are not expending energy, you naturally don't need it. If I fill my car up today, if I put it on full, and I don't drive for the next 6 days, I'm not going to have to get in the car and fill it up again. It's pretty much going to be right there. Now, it's a little hot in Birmingham, Alabama, so a little of it might have evaporated, but there's probably going to be a fair amount of gas still in the vehicle in 6 days. I'm not going to go have to fill up again. I'm going to be able to use that gas because I did not do anything with the vehicle. I did not expend any energy. I did not go anywhere. But if I fill it up and I go across the country, I'll need to fill it up 5 or 6 times in 6 days. So it's all about what energy are you expending, and always link your carbohydrate intake to, hey, I'm more active today, so I probably will have a sweet potato with my meal. I will have some oatmeal with my breakfast because I know that I'm going on a hike right after this. I know I'm going to go play basketball. I'm going to go lift weights, whatever. But if you have a day where you know that you're not going to be moving a lot, you should opt out of having that carbohydrate with that meal just because your body simply doesn't need it. And it has an opportunity to tap into fat stores since you're not going to be moving and as active. Number 2 is that you should never have a low protein breakfast. So, a study done from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition shows that a low protein breakfast can lead to increased overall caloric intake and cravings for high calorie, low nutrient foods, aka processed foods, cakes, sugars, candy, chips, stuff like that. Low nutrient foods later in the day. And the biggest reasoning for this is that low protein diets simply are not satiating. So have you ever just binged out on something? We're talking about, let's say, a bag of Doritos. You got a bag of Doritos and you feel like you could just go all day, like mindlessly throwing that bag of Doritos down. And like you could be finished with it in maybe 30 minutes or so, maybe 30 to 60 minutes, maybe a couple of hours if you're, moving a little bit slow. But you can consume an entire, family sized bag of Doritos. Might be maybe 2,000 calories, like maybe your full allotment of calories in a day for the average person. You can probably finish that in an hour or two. But if I sat down 2,000 calories of chicken breast beside you, or 2,000 calories of eggs beside you, or 2,000 calories of shrimp or steak or salmon beside you, you couldn't finish it in a day. You couldn't finish in a day. But a bag of Doritos, 2 or 3 snack cakes, a handful of Oreos, a croissant, some biscuits, you can finish that stuff in minutes, honestly, and consume the same amount of calories. It is very low satiety producing, which means that you are going to continue to eat it and eat it and eat it and eat it. And then this is going to make you, because you're consuming without actually getting nutrients. So your body is getting the sensation of eating. You're getting the digestive system started, but you're not actually deriving any nutrients from it. So basically, you get that hunger signal turned on, but it's never turned off because it doesn't have a response. It doesn't have the available nutrients to actually turn off and say, okay, we're good for now. We're good for the next few hours. So you're constantly putting down these things. And that's what happens when you have a low protein breakfast. And the American diet, cereal, donuts, biscuit, things like that. Like those are typically the things that we opt for with the standard American diet. And what happens is you're not full, you're not satiated, you probably don't really have any nutritional value. So in a couple of hours, you're hungry again. And you're more than likely going to lean into things that are even more processed, even more high sugar than what you consumed the first time, or more high fat than what you consumed the first time. And then that's going to lead into a rougher snack. And then that's going to lead into a rougher dinner. Like there is a lot of behavior around nutrition. When people say, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, it's not necessarily because of the foods that you eat at breakfast, and it's not because it's that special time of day. It's more so meaning that breakfast kind of sets your metabolic schedule. Let's put it that way. It sets your body's schedule, and it sets your body's cravings and desires for the rest of the day. So we get a reset. When you go to sleep and you wake up in the morning, you typically are going to get a fresh reset, assuming that you got quality sleep. But what you consume out of that fast will determine what you want next. And then what you consume there will determine what you want next. So you need to be very, very careful. Make sure that you're getting in at least 25 to 50 grams of a high quality protein source to start the day. And you probably want to take it light on the carbs unless you've got a lot of movement planned for the day, a lot of movement directly after that, or maybe you did something directly before breakfast. But you want to make sure that you have that protein in your diet because you want to be satiated, and you don't want to make decisions based on cravings, but you want to make decisions in your food based on what your body needs at that moment in time. And then number 3, last but not least, is going to be to embrace fasting throughout the day. So a study from the Annual Review of Nutrition shows that extending the period between meals without snacking leads to improvements in insulin sensitivity and a reduction in visceral fat storage. Visceral fat is the deep, dangerous layer of fat, basically, that's in our organs, in your trunk. That's going to be the fat around your heart, around your stomach, around your intestines, around all the essential organs in the trunk of your body. And embracing fasting periods throughout the day can markedly reduce that visceral fat storage. And one of the big reasons for this is because it increases your body's ability to actually utilize those fat cells for energy, because it is now devoid of energy from food. So I'm not saying to starve yourself. I'm not saying that you should intermittent fast or you should do a 2-day fast or 3. It doesn't necessarily work that way. But when you are getting in the necessary nutrients that you need throughout the day, you shouldn't also need to subsequently snack on things throughout the day. A lot of times, snacking is the things that mess us up. It's the thing that leads us to a plateau in our health journey in the first place, because your body never really has an opportunity to tap into fat stores. Like especially if you're trying to drop body fat, which is the name of this conversation. If you're trying to drop body fat, you need to give your body nutrients, yes, but you also need to give your body an opportunity to actually metabolize fat cells and use them for energy so that it can burn them off. If you're constantly throwing something down your gullet, you've always got something that your body can use for energy, and it's always going to opt for that, guys. It's always going to opt for the food source, especially carbohydrates, because carbohydrates are a much better fuel source than fat. But when you are absent of those carbohydrates, this is why the keto diet is so popular, even though people they get it wrong in terms of what they do eat. They avoid carbs, but they do eat a bunch of saturated, unhealthy fats. So this is why you want to have those periods of restriction throughout your day so that you can have 4, 5, 6 hour windows where your body is having to tap into fat stores for energy, because it's already used and absorbed all of the carbohydrates or proteins or the healthy fats that you might have consumed. And you also want to give your digestive system a break. This is a big thing as well. And I think this is probably, and I should have found a study on this to back myself up. So I will say that this is something that, just based on my own anecdotal experience and experiencing with clients, if you're constantly consuming food, your body and your digestive system never really has an opportunity to catch a break, which means that it's going to create clogs in the system, which means that it's going to move slower, which means that your metabolism is going to decrease. If you want to know what your metabolism is like, what is your digestive system like? If you are constantly bloated, constipated, very irregular, if you have, maybe severe stomach issues like, stomach cramping, stomach pain, stuff like that, then you can almost guarantee that you have a quote unquote slow metabolism. And that is most definitely going to impact your body's ability to drop body fat. And I guarantee you, if you're dealing with those things, then you're probably always grazing on something throughout the day. It's probably always something that starts your digestive wheels turning. And a lot of times, if your digestive system is highly stressed, it's in distress, sometimes one of the best things that you can do is give it a break, give it a rest, give it the opportunity to actually fully digest and absorb the food and nutrients that you put into it. Then give it an opportunity to rest and then be able to do that again in a few hours. It's going to do wonders for your body's ability to metabolize those fat cells, regulate the digestive system, improve your hunger signals so that you're not going and getting food when you're not really hungry, or you're not avoiding food when you actually are or should be eating, because your hunger signals are in a better place because you've given the digestive system time to relax and repair, which is extremely, extremely important. So that is it. The 3 food rules to help you drop fat permanently. I know that you're a busy man, busy woman, and you might not have the time to track calories and log macros and all that stuff, which is why I'm extremely passionate about figuring out easy ways to eat the things that you need to eat, avoid the things that you need to avoid, and make it simplistic and easy. You've got your job, you've got kids, you've got responsibilities, maybe you're traveling, whatever the case may be, but you still want to get healthy. You don't want to completely alter and uproot your life just to lose a few pounds and get in better shape. You want it to be something that's a part of your life and something that's seamless. And I think that having food rules just like these that we talked about is a great way to get that done. And if you want help implementing something like this for yourself, figuring out the gaps in the way that you eat, the struggles, the temptations that you might face in your own nutrition personally, then join our Hacks Nutrition 30-day sprint. Basically, over the next 30 days, we'll help you implement strategies just like this, and then others that you might need in order to drop fat, build lean muscle, and improve your overall health. Just 30 days to help you completely reinvent the way that you think about and approach food, which can honestly alter the trajectory of your life and ultimately help you get in the best shape of your life once you get these tools in place. So hopefully this is valuable for you. If you want to check that out, click the first link down in the description below, and make sure to subscribe and turn notifications on so that you do not miss any more uploads going forward. Hopefully this is valuable for you. Like and share it with somebody that you know needs to hear it, and I'll see you in the next one.